I forgot to hit record. All right, but that's not a big deal. All right, so let's just scroll back up here. Domain, graph for number 3, graph for number 4. All right, now for the absolute values. All right, you're supposed to remember that this, using the transformations, all right, this is a shift to the what?
Right.
That's correct. Everybody needs to be able to tell me that. It's shifting to the right 4, right 4,
Down to.
and then down 2. Oh, come on. Come on, guys. I'm working. All right, boys, you're interrupting too much. So what? He's got shoes. Big deal. Hilarious. All right, I'm working. All right. Now, I want everybody to write down. We know then the vertex is located at what? 4, -2. So everybody plots the point 4, -2. All right. And once you plot the point 4, -2, this right here, the number in front is what we say is the vertical stretch or the vertical shrink. All right. Because that's a -3, that's just affecting the slope. All right. Which just means everything is multiplied by -3. So in this case, you're just going down 3 to the right 1, down 3 to the left 1. All right. And then that makes your V. All right. Anybody have any questions with that? Now, the other thing is, before you ask, all right, I'd also like you just to review with you, all right, how you can type that in the calculator and take a look at it. All right. So everybody take out your calculator. Now on your calculator, I want you to go to y equals, and then you're going to type in -3. Then you hit the math. Then you go over to the right one and it should be absolute value. Then you hit that and just type in x -4 inside the absolute value, and then kick outside the absolute value and type in -2, and then you just hit graph, and it should do that for you. All right. Now, again, if your graph is messed up, remember Zoom standard will always take you back to a 10 by 10 screen.
What was the last step?
Are you in y equals?
Yeah.
All right, so you type in -3, then you hit the math button and you move over 1 to number, I believe, and then it's number 1, which is absolute value. So then you just hit enter and then you just type in the rest of the information. Does that make sense, Ruffin?
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
All right, perfect. All right, and then everybody just hit graph and you should be able to see that. Anybody have any issues with that? All right, so even if you forget, you ought to be able to look at your calculator and figure that out. All right. Now, number 6. All right, everyone, we're going to shift this what? Left 1 and down 3. So I really prefer that you just tell me that the vertex is what? Yes, everyone's going to -1, -3. Then from there, we say the slope is 2. So you're just going up 2 over 1, up to left 1. Now, again, it's equal to, so we know it's a solid dot. So now we're going to draw the absolute value graph. And then here it says we're shading what? Less than, which means what? Yes, below the graph. All right, which is below the graph. All right. Now, I realize that's not that hard, but I also feel like, you know, even if you're uncertain, all right, your calculator is powerful enough to show you. All right, so here's what we're going to do now. All right, go back to y equals. And now clear it out. And then everybody type this in. And I'm sure I showed you where the inequality is, but I want to make sure. All right. Now, everybody type that in. All right. Now, when you type that in, all right, you remember you go all the way to the left, all right, and you highlight the blue or the color that it is, and then hit enter. So move your cursor all the way to the left, all right, under y equals. And then when you hit enter, a screen comes up, right? And that tells you about the color. You can change colors if you want. Is everybody with me on that? Right, but we want to shade, all right? So in order to shade, go all the way over here, hit enter. And now where it says line, go down the line, and now click left and right. We want to shade less than, so we want it where it's below the graph. So click over until you see something highlighted below the graph.
Like a triangle.
Yes, like a triangle. And then you have to go down and click OK. And then you didn't enter it in yet.
Oh.
All right, and then hit graph, and it should shade for you. All right, yeah, it's pretty cool. It shades for you. All right, if you're not seeing that, that's not a big deal. Who can't shade inside and outside or above and below? All right. Now, on some of the older calculators, though, believe it or not, it's a little bit harder. All right, so I'll show you if you have, like, yours a little bit older, so yours you just go there. Also, guys, I'm noticing that your plotting points is on. All right, let me show you. Go back to y equals 1. Click all the way over. All right, you can change the color that way. Okay, did you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so again, I understand that's not really that big of a deal because everybody knows how to color less than or above or below, whatever. All right, so that's not really that big of a deal. It's just something that if you forget, all right, it's just nice to know you can find the information on your calculator. All right, now does anybody have any questions with the shading? All right, and changing the color is kind of nice now that you know that. All right, now number 7 is the one that most people have a little trouble with. All right. So now again, this is a graph that is cut into 3 pieces. All right, the first piece is going to be less than -1. All right, so remember what I told you, there is no first number less than -1. So you plug in -1. When you plug in -1, you get what? You get -2. However, you want to make it just an open circle. It's not filled in. All right. Now we're going less than -1. So I plug in -2. When I plug in -2, I get what? So now I plot the point -2, -4. And then this, we know is just a line. So that would be the first piece of that graph. All right, does anybody have any questions with that? All right, now the second piece, we're graphing everything between -1 and 2. All right, so if I start at -1, if I plug -1 in, what do I get? 0. So now I want everybody to plot -1, 0, Now notice this is a solid dot this time because it's equal to. Now, again, this is just a line. So I plug the last number in, which is 2. And what's 2 plus 1? 3. So at 2, I'm going to plot the point 3, but this time it's going to be a what? Open circle. It's going to be an open circle. All right. And so from there, what we're doing is we're just connecting those two dots now. All right. So that is the second piece to the puzzle. And then finally, the third piece is y is always 3 when x is greater than or equal to 2. So we're going to start at 2. And when I start at 2, the y value is 3. So this now becomes a solid dot. And then everything greater than remains 3. So that's the graph of that piecewise function. All right, does anybody need any assistance with that? Yes.
The slope for the -1, -2.
Well, remember, when you graph a line, all right, the easiest thing to do is to plot the first point and the last point and then just connect the dots.
I mean, like the one that has the point on it, the first line.
So I plugged -1 in, correct? And I got -2. Then this is less than -1. So I just found the second point. So I just plugged in -2.
Okay.
And -2 times 2 is -4, right?
Yeah.
Now you could have said the slope is +2, right? So to create a +2 going to the left, I'd have to go left 1 and down 2. That gives me a slope of 2. But I don't really do that way because, right, I know it's a line, so I'm just going to plot a second point and draw the line. Is that helpful? All right. Anybody have any else? Yes, sir.
So do you know, is it always gonna be a straight line?
No.
There's no X value on the left part? Like on the bottom, there's no.
Are you talking about the third piece?
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime you graph a number, y equals 3, that's just a horizontal line.
So sorry to interrupt. Can somebody tell me which locker's reference? I need to get some of this stuff out of it. Anybody know? I don't think. Oh, he's got English stuff. Oh, keep it in a desk.
Yeah, that's his locker.
Okay.
Hey, Ruffin, we're looking for your work here.
English binder.
All my books
Is
are
it just say that again? All your books are where?
in my desk.
Yeah.
I'll just give them all that stuff. Thank you so much.
All right.
I never would have found it.
All right, here we go. Back on track here, guys. All right. Anybody have any issues with that? All right, so now that we're a little better on number 7, let's take a look at question number 8. All right. Now we have an absolute value, we have a parabola or a quadratic, and we just have a line. All right. So once again, we're looking at the first piece here. All right. We start at -2. At -2, I'm graphing what point? Yes, and then you're supposed to recognize that it is an open circle. Anybody have any issues so far? And then it's less than -2. All right, because it's less than -2, I'm going in this direction, and it's just a horizontal line. Everybody comfortable with that? All right. So now, once again, I'm graphing the absolute value between -2 and 1. All right, so we should know that this has just been shifted to the left 1, and then we create a V. All right, but let's say for some strange reason we don't want to look at it like that. We can just plug -2 in. When I plug -2 in, what do I get? +1. And then when I plug -1 in, I get what? When I plug 0 in, when I plug 1 in, I get. Now, when I plug 1 and get 2, we have to remember that it is open circle. And then here is your part or the piece of the absolute value graph. Is everybody okay with that? What? I plugged in -1. So -1 plus 1. Absolute value of 0. Does that make sense now? Because -1 was between -2 and 1. I just did them in order. Right. So I think I understand your question now. Listen to me, please. This is not a line. So I can't just plot 2 points and draw the line. You're supposed to know the absolute value makes a V. We just didn't know what the V was, right? Now, of course, we should know that its vertex is -1, 0, and we would create the V, right? But we would know that it starts at -2 and ends at 1. Is everybody okay with that? All right. Now we're going to graph x squared for anything greater than 1. All right. So if I plug in 1 this time, I'm going to get a what? A 1. So at 1, I get 1. Is it solid or open? Solid. Then when I plug 2, I get what? Now you're supposed to remember that that's just the graph of a quadratic. So it would just look like that. All right, so that's the graph of that. All right, those are the 3 pieces that are graphed. All right,
Mr.
again,
Stroud,
yes,
on the test, do you want us to use different colors for each part?
it doesn't matter to me. I'm just simply doing it for, visual. That's all. It makes no difference. I can tell whether or not you know how to do it. What?
All right.
When you do it squared, is the line always curved?
Yeah, remember, it's a parabola. A square looks like this. All right, but we're only using this part of the graph. Anybody else? All right, generally that's the hard part. All right, I think that's generally the hardest part for kids. All right, the rest of the stuff should be pretty easy. Down here, I just said practice not using a calculator. I don't care if you check your work, but you should be able to do the mental math here. So what was f of 3? Somebody said 23. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, what's f of -1? 7. I've gotten all kinds of answers. 7. Anybody else get 7? 7 is good or not? Anybody need any help with that?
Can you do that one?
Yeah, just plug -1 in. All right. Now, again, when we plug -1 in, I really appreciate you guys asking me to do that. Right. It's just a matter of, do you understand the order of operation? So what's -1 minus 1? Absolute value of -2. 2 times -2.
Negative.
So that's -4 plus. Now I plug -1 in here. What's -1 squared? 1 times 3.
Okay.
So really the answer was what? Who said -1? Why didn't you guys tell me? You didn't say that. No, he didn't. Brady always says he has the right answer after I say what the answer is. All right, here we go. Thank you. Thank you, Harris. All right, so the correct answer is in fact -1. Is everybody okay with that? All right, so now the fraction, again, I do think is important to do it by hand. All right, you shouldn't need a calculator. All right, so you're practicing. All right, so if I plug in 1/2 in for x, what's 1/2 minus 1? And then the absolute value of -1/2. 1/2 times -2. So far I have -1. Then I plug 1/2 in square. What's 1/2 squared? 1/4 times 3, 3/4. -1 plus 3/4. -1/4. Seriously, everybody should be able to do that. And all kidding aside, all right, if you're having trouble with that, let's figure it out. All right, I really don't want you using a calculator on that. All right, anybody have any issues with those three? Everybody's good? All right, here we go. Write the equation of the line that passes through these 2 points in standard form. All right, so here we go. This should be, again, great problem. All right, M equals, now we're doing our mental math, -6 over -9. So that's what? 2/3. All right. Now it says here standard form, but I have a point and a what? Slope. So does it matter what point you pick? No, it'll all be the same. All right. So let's pick the first point. Y minus 1 equals 2/3 times x minus 3. Does everybody agree? Now, do you recall standard form, you're not allowed to have fractions. So now I have to multiply the left side by what? And then I distribute the, so everybody should be able to tell me that's 3y minus 3 equals 2x minus 6. Putting the x and y together with the x being positive, 2x minus 3y equals 3. Everybody happy with that explanation? All right, if you can do that, you're in, like I said, great shape as far as lines go. If there's a problem, just tell me and let's correct it. All right, yes, sir.
I got the same thing, but like from there, everything 3 is divided by 3. So like I got 2/3 x minus y equals 1.
You can't have fractions, right? So you just multiply everything through by 3. Okay. All right, man. 13, here we go. Now we're writing in what form? Point slope, which is really nice. So we also want the what? Perpendicular. All right, so let's do our mental math here. I just want you to tell me what the slope is. So the slope of this line right here is what? 2/5. Now, if you're looking at me like, how do you do that in your head? I want to show you how you do that in your head. All right, so if you're not sure, you can tell me. You may have forgotten. I want everybody to be able to look at that line and say, obviously, the slope is 2/5. Do I care about the y-intercept? No, I don't care. So the 1 meant nothing to me. All I did was I moved the y over and divided by 5, and that's the slope. Everybody good on that? So now we know the slope of the perpendicular is what? -5/2. And we're passing through this point, so we know y minus 4 equals -5/2 times x plus 2, and we are done. Anybody have any issues? Yes.
The y-intercept doesn't matter at all.
Not in this point, not for this line, right? Because we're using that line to find the perpendicular. You agree with me? All right. 14, write the equation line that passes through this point parallel. All right, so parallel. So I need the slope again. So once again, you have another chance. Slope equals what? Everybody should be able to say it's -1/4. Therefore, the slope of the parallel line is also what? -1/4. And so again, I'm looking slope intercept. All right. So this one's a little bit more annoying, but still we go to point slope. So y plus 2 equals -1/4 times x minus 5. Anybody have any problem with that? All right, now your time to shine with fractions. People think you're weird next year when you go to high school and you can do fractions. All right, so here we go. Y equals -1/4 x. -1/4 times -5 is what? Come on. 5/4. Then what am I doing with this 2? subtracting 2. But 2 is the same as how many fourths? 8/4. -3/4, guys. All right, everybody should be able to do that. Anybody need any extra assistance or reminder on the fractions? Everybody's good? All right, amazing. Okay, so remember, I need everybody to put down, if you're looking for the x-intercept, what is true? Y is 0, thank you. If you're looking for the y-intercept, what is true? X is 0. Very nice. So the x-intercept, 14/5. I don't understand why that's hard. The y-intercept, 0, -2. That's amazing. All right. Now, let's say for some strange reason you forget. What I show kids is just draw any line. This is the y-intercept. The x equals 0. This is the x-intercept. The y equals 0. Even if you forget, you should be able to just draw a line and say to yourself, okay, why is that the x-intercept and the y-intercept? Is everybody okay with that? Simple, simple. All right, here we go. Slope of this line was what? M equals what? All right, M over here equals. Somebody said 2/5, and M here is right, because vertical lines are what? Undefined. All right, there we have it. All right, so now let's knock this out real quick. All right, line of best fit. Take out your calculators, right? I'm sure everybody remembers this. We go to stat and then hit edit. Stat edit. L1 is your what? X values, and L2 is your what? Y values. That is exactly correct. So now under L1 and under L2, you type in those numbers. Are you allowed to type in 11? No, it'll say dimension mismatch error if you do. All right, it's trying to plot a point. You didn't give it the Y value. You only gave it the X. So now if you're struggling here, just speak up. All right, you go to stat, edit, type in the list. All right, now, does everybody understand? Let's just take a quick look at the graph. All right, so if you're going to take the look at the graph under Y1, you have to go above it and where it says stat plot, and you have to turn that on. All right. So under Y1, remember, you take your cursor all the way above and you hit that enter button, and that turns on your ability for the calculator to plot the points. Now, if you've typed in L1 and L2, you then go to zoom, and I think it's number 9, where it's zoom stat. And then if you hit zoom stat, it'll configure your domain and range to match those points. Does everybody see that? Right? Guys, your calculator is super duper powerful. All right. If you know how to use it, you have a big advantage. All right. Anybody have any issues with seeing those plotted points? I don't care what they are. All right. Now that you see them, remember we have to go to stat, and then we go over to calc, and then we go down to number 4, which I think is line reg is what they call it. Right? Then you hit that, then you just hit enter all the way through, and then it spits out the information. And the information is y equals what? We go to 3 decimal places, 2.86, 4, x, like this. Is everybody okay with that? All right, come on, Bo, you got to speak up. You had to type in, I promise you, everyone's going to get the same answer if you type in the right points. All right, so go back. A lot of times you just accidentally mess up a point. All right, now, how do you think I find what the y value is when x is 11? What do?
You graph the line.
What do I have to do?
Go to, table,
Well, yeah, we could do that, but essentially all I'm doing is what? Plugging 11 in for x, right? Right, plug 11 in, but you can do it on the table, right? 100%. All right, type this under y1 and then go to your table and type in 11. Thank you, that's perfect. All right, but essentially we're just plugging in 11. So what was the answer for 11? 28 point what? And do I care if you put 28.5 or 28.4 or something? I don't care. All right, if you're close to the answer, I'm good. Because it's a what? It's a line of best fit. No exact answer. All right, but if you said the answer was -3, we have a problem.
Mr. Stroud,
All right. Yes.
how can you explain to me again how you get the 28.063?
Okay, do you understand? I'm looking at this 11 right here, right?
Yes.
I'm trying to calculate what the y value is.
Yeah.
Plug 11 in for x, and that will calculate the y.
All right. Thank
So
you.
just do 2.864 times 11 minus 3.44. That should be
All
good
right.
enough.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, wait, you have to put that in for Y.
Yeah, you can type that in, but also if that's all you're looking for, you just type it on your calculator, 2.864 times 11 minus 3.44, and that's your answer. You don't have to do that on the calculator. I mean, you don't have to put that on the graph or anything. Right? All right.
I got like.
Anybody have any questions? All right, here we go. Let's knock out some of the ACT and SAT questions now. All right, 18, I feel totally comfortable with. We're solving for L, right? So what's the answer? Yeah, that's hard to believe that's an SAT question. That's just mind-boggling. All right, everybody comfortable with that, right? Now, remember, if you got something different, we just had an example of, we said people thought the answer was 7. That wasn't the correct answer. So if you think it's something different, speak up and we can verify that that's the correct answer, because I don't have the answer. I'm asking you for the answer. Everybody's agreeing it's C. All right, I'm happy. Which of the following inequalities is equivalent? All we did was what? Yeah, divided by what? Yeah, I don't understand that. That's an SAT question also. All right, here we go. Okay, so this one might be a little bit more challenging. What is the answer for 20? Somebody said 10. Why is it 10?
Parallel, so the slopes have to be the same.
That's exactly right. That's what I like to hear. Parallel, so the slopes are the same. So from here, I went up to and over what? 5. So if I go up to and over 5, from here, if I go up 4, that forces me to go over 10. All right, I'm happy with you guys. Good job. 21. Okay, this was trickier. What is the answer? A. Anybody else? Anybody need me to do some? Okay, so let me explain something. Whenever they give you a point, what should you probably do with the point? Plug it in. Right? So they give you the point CD. C is X and D is what? So we plug that in. D equals K times C plus 4. Now, which letter is the slope? K is the slope. So what am I doing? Subtracting 4. And then what? Divide by C. That's equal to K. All right. Most of the time, kids have trouble with that just because they're not used to K being slope. Usually it's M. Right? Does everybody agree with that? Anybody have any issues? That's another SAT problem. All right. Anybody? All right. Which of the following expression is equal to 0 for some value of x? This one's a great problem. Of course. Wow. If you knew that was A, pat yourself on the back. Again, I don't understand how that's a problem, because what's true about absolute value? It's all positive. So if I add 1, is it going to be able to be negative? No, no chance. So the correct answer has to be A. That's a good job. All right, please speak up if I need to be elaborate or anything. All right, 23. Which of the following statements is true about the graph? Yeah, that was too easy for us too, right? I'm not saying it's right. I'm asking. All I know is when somebody asks me about the slope and y-intercept, that's a pretty easy question. Everybody happy with that? All right, 24. Find the value of x that makes the slope of the line containing the 2 points equal to 3. All right, what does x equal here, guys? X equals what? 1. Somebody said 1. Somebody said 8. Anybody else? Brady, I want to make sure I hear you. What's the answer to this one? 1. Okay, I don't want you to come back changing your answer again.
Oh, wait, yeah.
Oh, wait. What's the answer? All right, because we do what? 6 minus 3. What's that? Over x minus 2 equals 3, right? Everybody good with that? So far, so good? Now we can just kind of make a proportion cross multiply, right? So 3 times x minus 2 is equal to what? Equals 3, right? Now, instead of distributing, I might as well just go ahead and do what? What should I do? Can I just divide it? So that gives me x minus 2 equals 1. So what's x? 3. Who said that got that? No, you didn't. No, you did not. I said, what did you get? And I got a 1 and an 8. Now I put the answer. You kind of remind me of Brady. Every time I write the answer down, and Brady says he gets it right. Bo, no one believes that. Bo, no one believes. Charlie, did you see that? Charlie, did you see that?
I got 3.
Stop, Charlie. You don't have to worry about him. He's not going to beat you up in the hallway if you disagree with him. Bo's soft anyway. Don't tell me you got 3 after I say, what's the answer? And I got liar, liars, pants are on fire. All right. Here we go. Tonight, finish. If you didn't get a chance, please try them. All right. I'm trying to show you simple. This is absolutely crucial for your test coming up. For those of you guys who are going to take a test for private school. All right. All right. My quarantine club. We'll miss you when we're riding the, what is it? What's the roller coaster? Zoom. What was it? What's, yeah, we'll think about you when we're at Busch Gardens. All right. Toodaloo. Have a great day. We miss you guys. The baseball team. Hey, the baseball team could have used your help yesterday, I heard.
They lost.
The baseball team got smacked yesterday.
Jeez, guys. What happened?
Yeah, St. John's needed some help yesterday.
Morty, you just got up.
Maybe.
They're making fun of your hair, Morty. Sorry. All right.